All right, everybody, welcome back to another video here on Financial Friends. Today, we are going to be breaking down my top 5 holdings by value, meaning the top 5 largest positions in my overall portfolio. So if you're interested in this type of content, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Also, if you're not subscribed, which I know a lot of you are not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It does help me out a ton. We are on the road here on this YouTube channel to 1,000 friends or 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. So if we can go ahead and hit that, your help is greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and dive into today's video. My top 5 holdings by value. Now, I am discussing this because it was a trend on Twitter where people were sharing their top 5 holdings by value, largest positions. Now, I feel that there's a little bit of nuance to this that we could dive into that we can't normally discuss over Twitter. So that's why we're making a YouTube video about it. Number 5, MMIZX. This makes up 6.5% of my portfolio, and it is a S&P 500 tracking index fund. Now, it is held within my 401k, which means I will be being taxed on this when I withdraw. So I wasn't taxed on it. That money that I made before through work, pre-tax, they took that money out of my paycheck, they invested it in MMIZX, then I got taxed, then I got my paycheck, but I will still be incurring those taxes when I go ahead and withdraw from my 401k. Now, MMIZX, as I mentioned, S&P 500, very boring. Boring on purpose. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, United Health Group, or UNH is the ticker, J&J, and NVIDIA. So, boring. S&P 500, but it makes up 6.5% of my portfolio. You will be seeing all of those companies later in another ETF. Pretty status quo. It is a mass mutual index fund. Taxed on it later. 401k, 6.5%. Let's move forward. Number 4. SCHD. This makes up 6.7% of my overall portfolio, and it is held in 2 different locations. It is held in my Roth IRA, which is funds that have already been taxed, that will grow tax-free, and I will not be taxed on the dividends that were reinvested, the dividends that I can then take out at 59.5 tax-free. But it is within my brokerage as well, which means I'll be being taxed on it. The money that I put in there, I'm being taxed on the dividends, and I am being taxed when I go ahead and sell at hopefully a capital gain. Now, SCHD is a position we have talked about probably 50 times on this YouTube channel already. It's composed or tracks kind of the Dow Jones 100, and it is made of dividend-focused positions. Yes, I know I spelled dividend wrong. You can go ahead and make a funny comment about it. But SCHD. This is a position we've discussed, as I mentioned, a lot. Texas Instrument is its number 1 holding currently in the portfolio, or in the ETF, sorry. Merck & Co., followed by IBM, Verizon, Broadcom, Pepsi, Pfizer, Coke, Cisco, and Amgen. These are dividend-focused positions. This is a dividend-focused ETF, and it is held in spots that is beneficial for those dividends. The Roth IRA can grow tax-free, can compound tax-free, and then I can pull that cash out after 59.5 tax-free, and in my brokerage, which allows me to collect the dividends while I'm still building a position in my Roth IRA, and while I am still living, doing things, maybe needing some of that dividend income in the future, I can go ahead and get that from my brokerage and not have to sell any position or incur any type of penalties through the Roth IRA. SCHD 6.7%, number 4 in my overall portfolio. Let's move forward to number 3, VOO. This makes up 8.1% of my portfolio. It is the go-to recommended, this is not financial advice, but recommended on Twitter and public and other kind of social platforms. VOO is very simply S&P 500 tracking ETF. It is the easiest way to describe it. It holds the top 500 largest companies within the United States, and it is held completely and entirely within my brokerage account, my individual brokerage account. So yes, I was taxed on the money. Yes, I will be taxed on the dividends. And yes, I will be taxed when I go ahead and sell this for a capital gain 40 plus years down the line. Now, VOO is S&P 500. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, the 2 Googles or 2 Alphabets, Berkshire Hathaway, United Health Group, J&J, and ExxonMobil Corporation. It is the S&P 500. At this point in the YouTube channel, the S&P 500 is literally a staple phrase. I say it all the time. Brokerage account, 8.1%. VOO is the number 3 position in my portfolio. Now, here's where things begin to get a little more interesting. Number 2 And 11.5% of my overall portfolio is VEA, a developed markets, so a non-US based ETF held in my Roth IRA. So yes, I will not be penalized when I go ahead and withdraw funds from this at 59 after 59 and a half years old. But VEA is 11.5% of my portfolio, and it is my, for the most part, only non-US exposure. So everything else I hold is pretty much within the United States. This is that large exception. Now we can dive into some of the larger companies here. If I scroll back up and head to page number 1, you will see some of the larger positions within this portfolio. Nestle, Shell, Samsung, AstraZeneca, some companies that you've probably heard of before, Louis Vuitton as well. Toyota is a big one, obviously. This is a very, very diversified ETF. It pretty much provides exposure to, well, it provides exposure to 4,126 non-US companies. It is made up of 51.1% European companies, 37.4% Pacific companies, 0.8 Middle East, and then 10.6 North America, which could include obviously some Canadian companies as well. Now, why do I mention any of this? This is my largest non-US holding, and it is pretty much entirely within this one position. So it would be beneficial for me to probably explore something maybe outside of the Roth IRA, maybe an individual account. For the time being, I'm going to continue to build this position in particular. Very diversified, easy to invest in, and I'm going to be taxed on it later down the road. This is probably a position I'm not going to need to move on, probably not going to want to move on, and I'm still not maxing out my Roth IRA. So in complete reality, I probably should not be focused on anything but that Roth IRA, but having some taxation diversification even now is of my benefit, just in case you ever need to move off of a position for whatever reason. VEA, 11.5% of the portfolio. Let's move into number 1, what you've all been waiting for. SFY is 27.7% of my overall portfolio. Yes, this is a little bit high, I will admit. I'll dive into that first. I was building this position from the time I began investing. And only since then, probably from about a year or so ago, have I really ventured outside of investing simply in my Roth IRA. I began building an individual account, a dividend-focused Roth IRA, as well as a 401k at my job. And so therefore, this 27.7% is going to continue to fall as I place money in other areas of taxation, as well as focus on my dividend portfolio I'm tracking here on the channel, which is still a Roth IRA position. So it will limit the amount of money I can put into this specific position as well. But again, held entirely within my Roth IRA, which means it will be tax-free when I go ahead and retire, and it is tracking the S&P 500, but in a unique way. So that's what I want to dive into quickly here before we wrap up today's video. This is a SoFi proprietary ETF, meaning this is a SoFi ETF. And unlike traditional ETFs, as it says here, that weight companies based on market cap, SFY weights them on 3 different growth signals: sales growth, revenue growth, and forward-looking revenue estimates. And so because of that, the makeup of these top 10 holdings is a little bit unique compared to other S&P 500 tracking ETFs. We have Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet twice. Those are pretty much across all of them, but we have Pfizer, Chevron, Exxon, and NVIDIA. Now, we've seen NVIDIA, we've seen Exxon, but Chevron and Pfizer are 2 unique ones. I'd also like to point out the weighting of these companies. If you take just simple VOO, you're going to get, that's VEA, VOO, you're going to get 7.16% Apple. Here in this one, you're getting 5.45% Apple. And so for that reason, I do enjoy having this position, and I don't mind that it is 27.7% of my overall portfolio. But of course, as I mentioned, it will be shrinking down to a smaller percentage over time as I continue to diversify where my holdings are and how they are being taxed. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. I hope you were able to take something away from this video. That taxation topic, let me know down below in the comments if you want me to dive further into that in another video. Also, comment your top 5 holdings in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when a new video comes out. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.